What if I told you that in a single week of Formula One, the FIA caught two top teams cheating in qualifying, the reigning world champion landed on one of the most prestigious lists on the planet, McLaren quietly announced they're bringing an entirely new car to Miami, and Aston Martin is somehow still getting worse?
I think the bulk of performance will come from the chassis, chassis development, because the power units are much more stable. They've been developed for many years. There's more restriction. It's harder to add performance to those things in season, whereas I think on the chassis side, we were only able to start working in the aerodynamics in the wind tunnel in CFD at the beginning of last year.
Oh, and Max Verstappen is heading into a 24-hour endurance race with a heavy heart after a rival tragically lost his life. That's not a movie script. That's just another week in the 2026 Formula One season.
He's doing a fantastic job up there, and I think everyone loves it. It's pure racing. It's a very difficult track. It's difficult to overtake, so you need a lot of passion sometimes to get the right moment to overtake someone, especially in the GT3 cars.
Welcome to Track Sport News. Let's get into it. 1. Trophy Lando Norris joins the elite Time 100 most influential people. Let's start with something that genuinely deserves some respect. Lando Norris, the reigning Formula One world champion, has been named in Time magazine's 100 most influential people of 2026. And before you scroll past, understand what that actually means. This list features Donald Trump, Pope Leo XIV, and some of the most powerful names on Earth. And Norris sits right alongside them. He's placed in the Innovators category, one of only 6 sporting figures on the entire list. The others include golfer Scottie Scheffler and Olympic snowboarder Chloe Kim. His profile piece was written by none other than Paris Hilton, who praised Norris for staying completely grounded even after winning the world title in Abu Dhabi last year. And that's the thing about Norris, he clinched the championship by overturning a 34-point deficit mid-season, fighting off teammate Oscar Piastri and a resurgent Max Verstappen. He did it under enormous pressure. And he never changed who he was. That's why Paris Hilton wrote about him. That's why Time noticed. And that's why F1's global footprint keeps growing. Norris isn't just a racing driver anymore. He's a cultural icon. 2. Fire Andrea Stella shuts down Ferrari return rumors.
I love that he's inspiring so many people by showing that you can work hard, reach the top, and still stay completely true to yourself, Hilton wrote.
Now here's a story that had the paddock buzzing. Reports started circulating that McLaren team principal Andrea Stella had signed a pre-con to return to Ferrari, the team where he spent 15 years as a performance and race engineer, winning championships with Michael Schumacher, Kimi Räikkönen, and Fernando Alonso. The rumors suggested he was heading back to replace Fred Vasseur as team boss. Stella's response? He compared the rumor to an envious pastry chef trying to ruin a good dessert. In other words, complete fiction.
It almost looks like some envious pastry chef has tried to spoil the preparation of a good dessert at the McLaren patisserie, he said.
And it makes sense when you look at the facts. Stella was the one who engineered McLaren's back-to-back constructors' titles in 2024 and 2025. He oversaw Lando Norris's World Championship campaign. He was always Zak Brown's #1 choice to lead this team. Why would he walk away now, just as McLaren prepares a massive upgrade package? The rumor is dead. Stella isn't going anywhere. 3. High voltage. The FIA catches Mercedes and Red Bull red-handed. This one is a big deal, and it proves that in 2026, the technical battles off the track are just as intense as the ones on it. Here's what happened. Under F1's new hybrid regulations, when a car deploys its full battery charge on a qualifying lap, power must be gradually reduced by 50 kilowatts per second on the run to the timing line. This is a safety rule. It prevents cars from suddenly losing all power at high speed. The problem? Mercedes and Red Bull found a loophole. They were triggering an emergency MGUK shutdown right before the line, cutting the motor instantly instead of ramping it down. This meant they could run at full power for longer, gaining crucial hundredths of a second when it matters most. The side effect? Their cars were left crawling around the circuit on cool-down laps with zero electric power for 60 seconds. Kimi Antonelli was creeping through corners. Max Verstappen lost power entirely. Williams' Alex Albon even stopped on track at Suzuka because of it. Ferrari flagged the safety concerns. Rival teams complained. And the FIA has now issued a technical directive. This trick is banned from Miami onwards. Mercedes were taking pole at every race and winning every Grand Prix this season. This loophole was part of why. Now it's gone. The pecking order at Miami just got a whole lot more interesting. For Rocket McLaren's secret weapon for Miami, a completely new SAR. While the FIA drama was unfolding, McLaren were quietly building something in the background. Team principal Andrea Stella has confirmed that McLaren will arrive in Miami with what he described as a completely new car from an aerodynamic point of view. This was always the plan. McLaren's technical director of performance, Mark Temple, explained that the biggest gains this season won't come from the power unit, they'll come from chassis development. The reasoning is simple. Power units under 2026 regulations are heavily restricted and harder to upgrade mid-season. But the aerodynamics? McLaren only started serious wind tunnel and CFD work at the beginning of last year. There is massive performance still to be unlocked. They also know where Mercedes are vulnerable. Japan proved it. Kimi and Anelli didn't win. The Silver Arrows have cracks. And with the MG UK loophole now closed, Mercedes could be about to lose their biggest hidden edge. McLaren completed 821 laps in pre-season testing, more than any other team. They know their car. They know their targets. Miami could be the moment they start closing the gap. 5. Faced with steam from nose Aston Martin, the 2026 horror show continues. Let's talk about the most painful story in Formula One right now. Aston Martin have 0 points after 3 races. 0. They are dead last in the Constructors' Championship alongside new entrant Cadillac. And it gets worse. Their Honda power unit is suffering a reported 136 horsepower deficit compared to the leading engines. The gap's so severe that even pundit Alex Jacques compared their situation to the McLaren Honda nightmare era. Fernando Alonso lost feeling in his hands and feet during the Chinese Grand Prix due to violent high-frequency vibrations from the engine. His limit in Australia was just 25 laps before the car became undrivable. In pre-season testing, they completed 334 laps total, compared to McLaren's 821. The truly tragic part, this team was supposed to be a title contender. They signed Adrian Newey, the greatest designer in the history of the sport. They secured a works Honda engine deal. The investment is enormous. And yet here we are. The chassis, the power unit, and the reliability have all failed simultaneously. As Martin Brundle put it, they have neither speed nor reliability. A B-spec car may not arrive until Spa. This is not just a bad start. This is a crisis. 6. Checkered flag Verstappen heads to the Nürburgring with a heavy heart. Finally, let's talk about Max Verstappen, because even away from Formula One, the man can't stop making headlines. Verstappen is set to make his debut at the legendary Nürburgring 24-hour race on May 16th, driving a Mercedes-AMG GT3 under his own Verstappen Racing banner alongside teammates Daniel Juncadella, Jules Gounon, and Lucas Auer. The circuit alone is a monster, over 25 kilometers long with more than 150 corners, elevation changes, and conditions that can shift from sunshine to fog in a single lap. But Verstappen goes into this race with a heavy heart. During the qualifying weekend, Finnish driver Juha Miettinen lost his life following a multi-car collision at the Klosterdal section of the track. A minute of silence was held before the race. Despite this tragedy, Verstappen showed exactly why people are watching him. He led the qualifier field for the first 90 minutes before a technical issue ended his race. His pace was undeniable. His preparation for the 24-hour main event has been meticulous. And with the race coming up on May 16th, one of the greatest F1 champions in history is about to take on one of motorsport's greatest challenges. That is your full F1 weekly roundup right here on Track Sport News. Norris going global. Stella shutting down rumors. The FIA catching teams mid-loophole. McLaren loading up a brand new car. Aston Martin in freefall. And Verstappen gearing up for the green hell. Hit subscribe if you're not already, drop your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you at Miami.